So my topic for the persuasive speech assignment is the video game The Finals, made by Embark Studios. And I just want to tell you what that is real quickly, because it'd be pretty hard to persuade you if you don't know what I'm talking about. So according to Steam, The Finals is a physics-based, fast-paced first-person shooter, and that's a good description, and it covers one of the things that I want to talk about, that being the physics aspect of the game. And so in The Finals, if you're shooting at a building, like with a gun or like an RPG or anything like that, you can tear down that building. And in The Finals, there's lots of really tall buildings as well. Like there'll be several stories high. So let's say you destroy the base of that building enough, you can cause that entire building to collapse, and it'll collapse onto other buildings, which will cause them to collapse, causing a domino effect for certain areas of the map. And let's say you're using a flamethrower and you're in a forest. Well, if the flames from that flamethrower hit the trees, it'll light them on fire, which will then cause the fire to spread throughout the forest of the map. And if enemy players touch those flames, they take damage and receive a burning effect and stuff like that. I really like this because in a lot of games, such as, let's say, Call of Duty, if you were to throw a grenade down or anything like that, it wouldn't really destroy anything. It would just leave a mark on the ground, and then that mark would disappear after a few seconds. Or if you shoot bullets at a wall or anything like that, it'll show you that the bullets did hit that wall, but then that mark will just disappear a few seconds later. So it's just really nice to see a game try something new, or something that hasn't really been done that much, because there's only really been one other game that's had destruction like this, and it was called Red Faction, which released back in 2018. So it's just nice to see it, nice to see destruction like this in a competitive shooter game like The Finals. So the next thing I want to talk about is kind of the class system of the game. So in most games in probably the past decade or so, we're seeing a lot of hero shooters. And within those games, I'm going to use Tracer from Overwatch as an example. You're limited, once you pick a character, you can only use that character's guns and that character's abilities until you switch off that character. So for Tracer, you can only use SMGs, and then a teleport, a rewind, and a sticky bomb, and you can only use those. Whereas in The Finals, instead of having heroes, you have classes, those being the heavy class, medium class, and light class. So the light class, these would be your glass cannon characters, really small, really fast, do a lot of damage, but they cannot take that much damage. The medium class, a jack of all trades, medium health, medium speed, stuff like that. The heavy class, that one, that one's kind of the defensive character of the team. Really big, can take a lot of damage, but has the downside of being really slow. And each of these classes have their own specializations that you can choose. So if you choose the light class, you can use evasive dash, which is a short distance teleport. Or you can use a zip line to reach high ground really quickly. In the medium class, you can use a healing gun. So if you shoot your teammates with that, it'll heal them. It's really great for keeping your team alive. Or you can use a turret or something if you want if you want to take a more defensive approach. The heavy class, there's a mesh shield, so you can provide cover for you and your teammates. Or if you want to take a more offensive approach, you can use charge and slam, where you literally just run and ram into people and walls and stuff like that, so you can literally bust through walls like the Kool-Aid Man. And each class also has their own gadgets that they can use. So the light class, you can use an invisible bomb, so you throw it down and you and your teammates can become invisible. Or you can use like a glitch grenade, which when thrown, like towards people. It prevents them from using abilities. The medium class, they have like zip lines and jump pads for, you know, covering distance, like them and their team covering distance pretty quickly. Or if you want to really lean into the more support role, you have defibrillators. So like if a teammate dies, you can resurrect them. The heavy class, you can have like pyro grenades and dome shields, and like there's a lot more gadgets that each class can use. I'm just naming like a couple of them. And also each class has their own weapons. So, you know, like the light class, you know, you'll have SMGs and things like that. Medium class, you'll have like ARs, and the heavy class, there's like the really big guns like LMGs and flamethrowers. And also each class, there is a little bit of crossover. So like every class has pistols. Like the light class has a really fast firing pistol. Medium class has a pretty like standard revolver. And then the heavy class has like dual wielding Desert Eagles. So there's, and like the reason I'm saying all that is because it just allows for so much versatility in your gameplay. Like you can change so many aspects of it. The next thing I want to talk about is the map design. There's like some of the maps are like real life locations or past real life locations. Like one of the maps is like 16th century Kyoto, Japan. And in that map, there's like the temples, there's the cherry blossom trees, there's gardens. Like the map design is just really beautiful. And like the graphics are amazing. And then the last thing I want to talk about is esports, which is like essentially competitive gaming. Like if you get good enough at a game, you can play in tournaments and like for teams and stuff and win money based off that. And as I'm recording this, there's actually a grand major that's going to start from November 28th to November 29th in Sweden. And the prize pool for that one is $100,000. And there's going to be some pretty like big teams there. If you like some bit, like some of those teams include TSM, Fnatic, Envy. If you don't know about esports, you won't know them, but if you are familiar with esports, those are like really big names. And due to time restrictions, that's really all I'm going to say. So thank you for watching.